here, Nautical Rod Sport Fishing. Today, we're not on the water. We are at the shop. We're getting ready to interface this Yamaha F150 to my Lowrance Elite TI-12. First thing we're going to talk about is a couple of things that you're going to need. Okay, number one, a fish tape. You don't have to have this, but it helps. Trust me, it helps, especially when you have enclosed gunnels like I do and everything runs behind the wall. Next thing you're going to need is a 10mm socket with a small extension, a couple of connectors. These are 3/8 ring terminal connectors. You'll need these for your batteries, for your drop backbone cables, wire strippers and crimpers, and of course you're going to need the Yamaha engine interface cable, as well as the starter kit from Ancor. Now, I actually misplaced that box. I don't know if it blew out of my truck or what, but I'm going to drop that. That looks like right here. And you can get this off of Amazon or any reputable marina. They should have it. You have to have both of these. Ancor backbone starter kit, as well as this Lowrance engine cable. I'm going to get to why you need both of these in a few minutes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what's in the box. In that Yamaha engine interface cable, you're going to have two pieces. This T, and you're going to have the connector for the back that's going to go and plug into your motor. This piece right here is going to connect into your backbone. I'm going to assemble this thing, show you how I hook it up, and then we're going to install it. So this is the power connector for our backbone connection. I'm going to take this This is very important. A lot of people don't think this is important right here. This is super important. You have to close these connections with these terminal resistors. Otherwise, the terminals are open and the data will not travel through. We're going to hook that in just like that. So this is what this is going to look like. I have this backbone cable. This is going to go to my Lowrance graph. We have this power cable. It's going to hook to a battery with a fuse, of course. You're going to need to buy one of those. It isn't provided in the package. And we have the cable, the interface cable, that's going to run to our Yamaha outboard. That's exactly how this thing is going to look, just like this. So now that we got that connected, that right there is your NMEA 2000 cable we'll plug in. This is the backbone cord. I got that run down underneath the console. We're going to go down here now, and we are going to hook up our power supply to our battery. Now this is what I was talking about as far as a fuse. This does not come with this. They come in several different varieties, but you're going to want to make sure that you put a fuse in this application. You're going to put that on that red wire. This is only about $5-8 from your local auto port store. If I was worried about this getting wet or moisture intrusion, I would have probably got a waterproof case. In this application, with this thing tucked behind my consoles and the way my boat's set up, I'm not really in danger of this thing getting wet unless we sink, and at that point we have other problems anyway. So you're going to make sure you want to pick one of these up before you start this. So now that we have that hooked up to the battery, we got the last part, and that's rigging this piece back to the outboard. Now, the best way that I've found to do this, and you can't always do this because you don't always have access, is take this fish tape, run it through first to where you're going, and then pull it back through. So I'm going to start this back compartment, my back battery tray, and then pull that wire back through the harness, the rest of the wires with the harness right there, and then we're going to unrig that and plug it in. Okay, as you can see, we got our cable run. And the next thing we need to do is we need to take our 10mm and get that bolt off right there. And this whole top bracket's gonna come off. We're gonna unrig this and run that wire through here. And we're gonna find our interface cable hookup somewhere in this cluster right here. Okay, so now that we got that run through, we need to find our blue and white. Where you at? See the cable. Where's the plug? Voila. We're gonna pop that terminal resistor off, that end cap right there. And we're gonna snap that right in just like that. Now, this is kind of a mess right now. I'm gonna tuck this down in here for just a second. I'm gonna put everything in loom. Okay, now that we got everything rigged back up, plugged in, we're gonna go get that garden hose right there, plug it into the lower unit, fire it up, see if we can make some magic happen with that graph up there. Okay, so now that we got our graph turned on, we're gonna go to information. Sorry if that's a little bit hard to see. I already have this cluster on here. You can change your layouts like that, whether you want navigation, you know, other stuff you might want. Let's see if we get connection. Yep, we got power. Looks like we're at about 12.5 volts. All right, let's give her a whirl. So one of the other things that you can do when you got this cluster on your screen is you can choose what gauges you want. So I'm going to click on PSI right there and select info. Now let's say I want oil pressure right there. Okay, so I got 60 pounds of oil pressure. Let's see what we got here. Let's see, I want fuel rate. Okay, so now I got my fuel rate right there. You got your trim. You can choose all these, whichever one you want. If you want to make that RPM, you know, vice versa. Technology nowadays is great. The ability to be able to do this stuff from a graph and not have to take up console space with a bunch of gauges that you may or may not need. In my case, gauges weren't the best route for me just because I didn't have the space. So for me, this is absolutely perfect. I have all my engine data. Again, it's not that difficult, guys, and you can do this with any motor that has some type of computer in it, whether it's a direct injection 2-stroke, 4-stroke, any of them motors that have an ECU in it. You can probably hook this up if you have a new enough graph. It's a huge game changer for me. As of right now, like I mentioned, I don't have the space for any dash clusters, any gauges, anything like that. I have all the information I need right here. Now we're gonna head to the water. We're gonna test some props. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.